From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
We got a couple speakers today, but I also want to say that we're not doing this action alone. We're doing this action alongside joint actions at UCSF, UC Berkeley, and San Jose State University. Now, we got a couple speakers today. I want to, in a second, invite the first one up. Now, this is their first semester at SF State. They're a new member of the General Union of Palestinian Students. Please, everybody, welcome to the stage, Mahmoud!
We are all gathered here today, not only to offer our support for the Palestinian cause, but to declare that freedom for Palestine means freedom for the masses. None of us are free until Palestine is. Liberty, justice, and dignity are core values that are not limited to one people's. They are not restricted by borders or checkpoints. When we speak for a free Palestine, we are speaking and advocating for these core values for all people. The Palestinian struggle is a part of a greater worldwide movement for human dignity and equality. The struggle against injustice worldwide is symbolized by the liberation of Palestine. From the Congo to Sudan, from Yemen to Cuba, from Haiti to Syria, we all know that a free Palestine would be a beacon of hope to all of the oppressed. It would show that justice can prevail, and that liberation is attainable for those who strive and fight for it. I'll say it again, Palestine will free the world. And before I end it off, I just want to remind everybody that we all must use our voices to keep Palestine alive. We may not live in Palestine, but there is a Palestine that lives in all of us. Deep down, that Palestine needs to be rescued. I implore you guys, don't ignore that voice, rather amplify it. Thank you.
Viva, viva Palestina!
Viva, viva Palestina!
Viva, viva Palestina!
Viva, viva Palestina!
Before we do this up, I want to remind everybody why we're here. It's Israel, with the support of our government right now, that is committing this genocide in Gaza and in the West Bank. And we are here to show opposition to not just our government, but also our university leaders who are complicit in that genocide. Now, as we continue, I want to give it up to our next speaker. They are a leader in the General Union of Palestinian Students. They were on the Encampment last semester, and they were a core leader in everything that happened last semester. Please, everybody, welcome Adil to the stage.
It has been 327 days since the Zionist entity launched its latest genocidal campaign against my people. Still, after countless images of children decapitated, burning bodies, videos of mothers screaming after coming home to their bombed houses with countless of their family members inside. When people our age in Palestine go home, they don't wonder what's made for dinner. They don't get to relax and watch TV, listen to music, and do their homework. They simply hope that their home and their families are still there with them. But I want to take a moment and reflect on what got us to this point here at San Francisco State in divestment. It took our institution watching 186,000 innocent Palestinians barbarically murdered and hundreds of thousands more sustaining permanent injuries to finally divest from the very weapons manufacturing companies that allowed these unthinkable atrocities to play out. While yes, the institution should be shamed and held responsible, this is without a doubt a monumental step in the movement towards collective total divestment here at San Francisco State and everywhere from Israel. Because of the work that you all put in by standing with us, we were able to be the first university to divest from major weapons manufacturers, including Lockheed Martin, Caterpillar, Palantir, and Leonardo. Give it up, give it up. Lockheed Martin is the world's largest weapons manufacturer, and it provides Israel with the weapons it has used against Palestinians since 1971, and continues to supply them to further the genocide with weapons like the Hellfire missiles, which are high-precision weapons that have historically been used to target Palestinian citizens. San Francisco State is now divested. Caterpillar is a longtime BDS target because of its infamous D9 armored bulldozers. They've been used by Israelis for decades for the sole purpose of demolishing Palestinian homes, which are often occupied when they are crushed. These bulldozers have also been crucial for Israel's ground invasion of the Gaza Strip. San Francisco State is now divested. Plantar, a company that provided their AI technology to Israel, had their tech utilized to surveil, stalk, and target Palestinians across Palestine, as well as having their AI used in ICE, aiding the US in deportation and family separation. With so much of their AI technology being developed in the Bay, divestment from Plantar was critical for our successful divestment campaign. San Francisco State is now divested. One of the leading European weapons arms manufacturers is Leonardo, which operates on occupied Palestinian land, only to produce weapons like guns designed to shoot and kill native Palestinians at a 21-mile radius. San Francisco State is now divested. These companies are directly responsible for Palestinian suffering going back decades. And these institutions look their Palestinian students in the eyes and tell them that their arms are tied from divesting from these companies. Well, we have shown them that they are not. We were able to achieve this through radical hope. A hope that held a vision of a free Palestine, a free Congo, a free Sudan. And we know, along with students across the nation, now that our goal of divestment is no longer radical, but tangible. There is no victory in genocide, but this is a historical win for divestment. Be proud of yourselves, don't give up, and thank you very much. Free Palestine.
The most important win that we got this year, and that's divestment, direct divestment from weapons manufacturing companies by our fucking university. We did that shit. But I want to bring up a few more wins we got that not all of you may know. We also won a disclosure of a full list of direct investments from our university that they were refusing to give at the start of the encampment. We have put it in place, so now international human law is in the investment policy, and if they try to do some shit like this in the future, we can hold them to it in the future. And we got a letter from our president to the chancellor to oppose SB 1287, oppose the tightening of protest rules, and try to protect our right to free speech and student activism on college campuses. And the last thing here, for those who joined the camp, definitely remember this, but we were the first university in the country to get our university president to carry out open negotiations right here in the middle of hundreds of students and faculty. Now, despite those wins, CSU leaders recently sent out an email to students and faculty claiming that freedom of expression is not an absolute right. Well, I think we all agree that it's not up to them. It's up to us. Are you guys gonna stop protesting for Gaza? No! Are you guys gonna stop showing up? No! How the fuck no? We're gonna keep fighting. We don't give a shit what they have to say down there in Long Beach. Now, our next speaker is another amazing fighter, and this one's not a student, they're a professor. coming from the Faculty for Justice in Palestine, I want everybody to give a warm hand to Omar Zahza.
So good to be here with you all and celebrating this incredible, important, and historic win in this new movement for the People's University, for an end to genocide, and for a free Palestine from the river to the sea. Now, I think Students for Gaza are absolutely right to note that there isn't a victory in a genocide, but at the same time, it's incumbent upon all of us, wherever we are, to do whatever we can to continue to advance the cause for a free Palestine and to say that there will be no business as usual under a genocide. And to continue the work that was started by the liberation movements of the 60s to say we do not want education to be invested in the killing apparatuses of the state and global imperialism. Now, last semester, as the student intifada set the nation on fire in righteous indignation, we saw the heroic example the students were setting, and we as faculty decided we were going to come together and launch a campus version of Faculty for Justice in Palestine. Now, why is this important? Because if you look around, there's a lot of unity in opposing the genocide, but we're also seeing a lot of repression. And the ways that this repression works, one of its most insidious mechanisms is to make us afraid, and afraid as individuals. So they'll come to you as students and say, you don't want to jeopardize your future. Look, we have these rules in place. You can't assemble in this way. Perfectly polite, perfectly bureaucratic, and totally insidious. Look, you're a faculty. You don't have tenure yet. Maybe you don't want to be saying this. And it's true that individually, we have reasons to be fearful. But when we're together, we have every reason to be fearless. Now, we're seeing all forms of repression play out across the university because I think, as the Student Intifada has shown, this is an important, historic, and very logically embattled space. So part of what we're seeing is, as was mentioned, right, things like these new time, place, manner policies. Hey, you can't camp out overnight. Hey, you can't carry a sign. Hey, make sure this is cleared with us ahead of time. And so part of the reason we started Faculty for Justice in Palestine, and part of the reason that we, as part of a broader national collective of Faculty for Justice in Palestine, came together is precisely to continue to do the work of working together with students to fight for a liberated Palestine and to uplift and support students resisting by any means necessary to continue to advance this righteous cause.
Give it up one more time for Omar Zahza. Disclose, divest, we will not stop, we will not rest.
Disclose, divest, we will not stop, we will not rest.
Disclose, divest, we will not stop, we will not rest.
Disclose, divest, we will not stop, we will not rest.
Hey, hey. Oh, I fucked that up. What do we want?
Justice.
When do we get it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
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 free Palestine,
Free Palestine.
disclose, divest, we will not stop, we will not rest.
Disclose, divest, we will not stop, we will not rest.
Hey, hey. Oh, I fucked that up. What do we want?
Justice.
When do we get it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it.
Shut it down.
Well, we got a lot of speakers from our campus, but we also got some speakers from other campuses that are standing here in solidarity with us. How do you guys feel about that? One speaker we got is from an encampment right around here down at Stanford University. Now, while we're doing our encampment here at SF State, they were fighting down there as well. Now they're here to speak for us, to speak to us, and show their solidarity with our struggle, and to show us that they're going to be fighting in Stanford just as we're fighting here in San Francisco State this semester. Please, everybody, everybody welcome to the stage from Stanford University, Herman!
My name is Herman Rafael Gonzalez, and I'm a proud member of Stanford Students for Justice in Palestine. It's such an honor to be invited to be able to speak here. I met a lot of SF State friends and comrades during our encampment time, and it was so amazing meeting so many amazing people from SF State, getting so much support. We got a lot of support during rallies for security, speaking, so I'm just so happy to be able to return the favor, even if just a little bit. So yeah. A little bit about me. Like I said, I'm a member of our SJP. I've been working with our divestment coalition since the end of Stanford's first sit-in. I do work with, like I said, our SJP, our Latina contingent. But one of the things that's been most rewarding for me is being able to go around the Bay Area and meet all of the amazing people that are also in the struggle with us. You know, oh yeah. This summer, and I mean this genuinely, there hasn't been a moment of rest. You know, for a lot of people may have seemed a little bit quiet, but I promise y'all, I promise all of our universities that was just the calm before the storm. Because students in the Bay have been working around the clock to not just make sure our campuses are strong, to not just strategize and organize and plan out what we're gonna do for this year, but to unite all of our campuses together. I'm talking about sharing plans, sharing organizing ideas, and genuine unity. I'm talking about uniting Berkeley and UCSF and SF State and De Anza and Foothill and SJSU and Stanford and all of the other amazing universities that are working hard to divest. And we're doing this because our power is in unity. Our power is in building that power. Our power is in mass action. Our power is in strikes, in protests, and building this together and coming together to find justice for Palestine. And we're doing this, we're uniting because we know in our hearts that when we unite, we can't be defeated. That when the students unite, we can't be defeated. It just makes me really happy. It's because we're good people of conscience, because we know that this genocide has to end, because we know that this is awful, that this is unfair, and that we have to do our part to end this genocide from where we stand, wherever we stand. And it's also because we know that ending this genocide, that finding justice for Palestine, that creating that justice with our own two hands is in the best interest of Palestinians, and it's in the best interest of all of us. You know, if our government would just use the money that it spends ceaselessly slaughtering children abroad, we wouldn't need bullshit tuition hikes. We wouldn't be worried about how we're gonna cover rent. We wouldn't be worried about getting to work on time because our trains, our buses are delayed again. I've been late to work 3 times this week because the ECR line isn't on time, and it pisses me off. And it's because we're working together. It's because we're uniting our campuses and we're building this strength that we're building up to this justice. Together we're building up to forcing our government, forcing our universities, forcing the state to give us what we need, what we want. We're building this future for Palestinians, for everyone in this country, in the face of a government that only cares about ceaselessly committing violence abroad. And we're doing this work and we're building up, and we know it's a necessity. Because when we do this, when we unite our campuses, when we walk out of class, when we host a rally, when we put up flyers, when we go tabling, when we put in that work, when we unionize our workplaces, when we go on strike, when we make our voices heard, when we send that rally to the math group chat or table for just like an extra 15 minutes, we're making that change. We're building that change. And we're not just making that change an idea in our heads. We're not just making that change a dream for the future. We're not just making that change a possibility. We're making that change an inevitability. because we know at the end of the day it's the same that it's always been, that the Students United will never be defeated. So join me for a second showing that, and let's make some noise. The Students United will never be defeated!
The Students United will never be defeated!
The Workers United will never be defeated!
The Workers United will never be defeated!
And the People United will never be defeated!
The People United will never be defeated!
And let's say that last one more time, with our whole chest, with our whole body, knowing that change is gonna come, and knowing that we're gonna make that change with our own two hands, with our own passion, and with our own dream for the future. So let's be fucking loud! The People United will never be defeated!
The People United will never be defeated!
Give it up one more time for Herman! I didn't even want to take the mic from him. I just want to let him keep going. We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
And I want to give some updates on negotiations. Because like we said, we did get some big fucking wins with those divestment wins from Lockheed Martin, Leonardo, Caterpillar, and Palantir. But SF State still has a number of indirect investments. And one of these investments, so they give their money to money managers, for those who don't know, that then invest our tuition dollars for them. Now one of these money managers is an investment firm known as Arrow Street. Now we found out over the summer that Arrow Street is investing over $260,000 of SF State money into weapons manufacturing companies. And at the same time, they're not even letting us know exactly what companies they're invested in. So, when we pushed for the investment committee to relinquish our money from Arrow Street, the investment committee claimed that they have a fiduciary responsibility to continue giving our money to Arrow Street because Arrow Street holds a lot of value for the investment committee. I think we can all agree, being complicit in the genocide of an entire people, just because you're afraid of making a bit less money that you're not even going to spend on your students, that's a fucking joke. Imagine the issues we could fix if instead of spending that money on bombs, we were spending it on the students and faculty right here in our universities. Imagine the change we could make. But the only way that we're going to make that happen, the only way we're going to make them change their tune, is if we make them. Are you guys willing to do that? Yeah! Are you guys willing to make them change their fucking minds? Yeah! Hell yeah. All right, so we got a few more speakers. We got one more speaker from another campus from UC Santa Cruz. Now they also had an amazing encampment and were fighting around the same time we were fighting. I want to welcome to the stage a representative from that encampment. Please everybody welcome Manny from UC Santa Cruz.
Hello everybody, my name is Manny, and I'm coming here today as a proud representative of the amazing group that emerged from the beautiful community built during the Gaza Solidarity Encampment at UC Santa Cruz. As schools around the state of California begin their classes, I wanted to remind everyone of the atrocities committed by school administrators towards their students. On the night of Thursday, May 30th, at around 11 p.m., I watched as our school administrators, Cynthia, our Chancellor Cynthia, and our Vice Chancellor Lori, called upon hundreds of police officers from 17 different departments across the state of California to brutalize their students, faculty, and community members. One of our most humble and dedicated comrades, who is still very much organizing with us, was thrown down to the ground so hard they received a brain injury and lost some of their memory. But even though we paid the price physically, let's keep it real. The schools, but ultimately the state, only care about the price tag. So let's talk about it. The UC system spent $29 million to violate students' freedom of speech and freedom of assembly. UCSF alone spent $2.7 million to shut us down. Millions of dollars can somehow pop up out of thin air to suppress students or fund companies making weapons for genocide, but not when students need housing or better food on campus jobs, or smaller class sizes, or hell, more choices in general. It's time that the students decided where their money goes, and we say no more investing in genocide. We say invest in your students, invest in us. Our encampment may have been torn down and destroyed, but our spirit and resolve has only gotten stronger. And that's because the encampment was never the goal. The goal is a free Palestine and liberation for us all. This is why we are here today. The admin and the state may have propaganda and police, but we have the people in unity, and that will always be stronger. We are here today on your first week of school to say that we are united. And when our school starts in September, we will be fighting right there, right alongside you. We are here today because there are no universities left in Gaza, no hospitals left in central Gaza, and we the people will not stand for it. Thank you for coming.
Now, I want to bring up our next speaker. They're an organizer with the Palestinian Youth Movement, PYM. They're not a college student here at SF State, but they're another amazing, I almost said accomplice, another amazing ally. And they're doing a great fight all across the Bay Area, same as we're doing our great fight here at SF State. Please everybody welcome to the stage, Rami from PYM.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. My name is Rami. I'm an organizer with the Palestinian Youth Movement. We're a transnational grassroots youth-led organization led by Arab and Palestinian youth who have taken full responsibility for our liberation and the liberation of our people back in Palestine. For 10 months and 75 years, our people have endured a suffocating genocide. Students all over Gaza have not been able to attend their classes and learn in the ways in which they love to do. Every school in Gaza has been destroyed or has been turned into a shelter for displaced Palestinians. And for months, students here at SFSU and across the Bay Area have been tirelessly fighting to turn their universities away from bankrolling this Israeli genocide and occupation. This summer, SF State has divested from the war manufacturers that have made this genocide a reality. Under the conditions of genocide, this is not a victory, but it is a moral imperative. From SF State to Palestine,
SF State to Palestine,
occupation is a crime.
occupation is a crime.
Say it clear and say it loud.
Say it clear and say it loud.
Students, you make us proud.
Students, you make us proud.
It is clearer than ever that making these wins requires an active role for us to take in the struggle for our collective liberation. The Third World Liberation Front was taken up right here at SFSU and created the first ever College of Ethnic Studies that ignited a fire of student movement around the country. This was done through the joint struggle of working class students and faculty, exerting our collective power over the institutions that seek to exploit us. Now, more than ever, we have cultivated a movement on the backs of the struggles that have come before us, and the central role that students have to play in our struggle for liberation. We are creating a movement that can never be defeated and requires each and every one of us to assume responsibility for our liberation. This genocide affects each and every one of us. First and foremost, it affects the Palestinian people, who Zionism seeks to destroy. the 17-year-long siege on Gaza, the imprisonment of our mothers, our fathers, and our children, the mass atrocities that we see every single day on our phone screens. But the Palestinian people, the Samud, their steadfastness can never, ever be defeated. The genocide affects us here too. It affects the millions of us in diaspora who have families back home, in the West Bank, in Gaza, in 1948 borders, in the refugee camps. It also affects us here in the belly of the beast. Every time a bomb drops in Gaza, that is being bought and paid for with our tax dollars. Every time a family is rendered homeless in Gaza, it is being bought and paid for off of the backs of the working classes here. Our streets are filled with people without homes. Students are hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt for pursuing their passions and their education. People are unable to afford going to the hospital for even the smallest issues that become life or death issues. We need to understand that the material conditions for working class students and families here in the West are inextricably tied to the material conditions of Palestinians. Our institutions are wholly responsible for not just allowing this genocide to happen, but for fueling this, for bankrolling this genocide, their blood-soaked endowments, through their pathetic nationwide attempts to repress our students. One by one, each university in the Bay Area has resisted this and will see full and complete divestment from the Zionist entity. In months, SF State has divested from entities responsible for this genocide, and imagine the power that we hold as a community and as a movement to take hold of our futures and demand that every single penny given to Israel is returned back to our communities and not towards the mass slaughter of the Palestinian people. This requires a confrontation. This requires a confrontation between students and their universities, from workers and their employers and their corporations, and from our communities against the empire. We are in the next phase of struggle, a phase that requires us all to become organizers, all of us to fight for our collective futures, to live in freedom and dignity. The Bay Area will tear down the occupation brick by brick. We will tear down US imperialism wall by wall, and we will take the helm of our liberation struggle. Students do not act in isolation. We are all responsible to organize amongst ourselves. Friends, co-workers, community members, we must continue to fight until each and every one of us is free from Turtle Island to Palestine. Brick by brick, wall by wall. Brick by brick, wall by wall. The occupation will fall. The occupation will fall. Not another nickel, not another dime. Not another nickel, not another dime. No more money for Israel's crime. No more money for Israel's crime. In our thousands, in our millions. In our thousands, in our millions. We are all Palestinians. We are all Palestinians. Say it clear and say it loud. Say it clear and say it loud. Students, you make us proud. Students, you make us proud. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, SFSU. Viva, viva Palestina! 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 Thank you.
All right. before we get to our next speaker, I just want to remind everybody from something. That this movement, now there's a lot of you that are new to it. There's a lot of new students here. This is your first semester. This is your first rally here. I want to give it up real quick for those students. Now for all of you, whether you're new, whether you're coming from last semester and this is your first rally, whatever it is, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. in Jack Adams Hall are where our General Assemblies of Students for Gaza are going to be held. Now that's so all of us get a say on what we're doing next, get a say on the strategy and the tactics of this movement, and get a say on the demands of this movement, which we will be discussing at the next assembly next Tuesday at 6 p.m. in Jack Adams Hall. I hope to see all of you there deciding the future of the movement at these assemblies. So we got one more speaker. Now this is a high school junior that organized a walkout among SF schools for Palestine. I want you guys to take that in for a second. They're now organizing with Bay Youth for Palestine. Please everybody welcome to the stage, Zaina.
Again, my name is Zaina. Thank you everyone for being here on the first week of school. As we're coming back into school and starting the first semester, we need to stay together as the Bay Area students for Palestine. And not just that, but we need to make this a nationwide thing. People use this summer as a break, but we need to come back, and we need to come back stronger than we were last year. The genocide in Gaza is still going on, and they are starting to attack the West Bank. Not only do we need to have students though, I encourage everyone to tell your friends, whether they're teachers, your parents, anything, that to join the movement and to help us with this journey to free Palestine. And we need to get full divestment of Israel, because the money that is going to Israel can be going to schools, healthcare, and even here in San Francisco, we have such a bad problem with homeless, it can be going to housing. There's so many other things, but instead, our government is using it to kill innocent people and children. We need everyone to continue to show up every day for Palestine and do everything in their power and to never give up. We are going to have hardships. People are going to try to shut us down and silence us, but we need to come back stronger. I hope everyone can continue to show up, and hopefully this is going to be the first of many rallies this year. Free Palestine.
Now real quick, I want everybody to look at this banner here. If you can't read it, it says 186,000 plus martyred in Palestine. And it says Bay Area Students for Palestine. This banner is waving at all of the other schools that are also doing actions today. So we're not alone. Now, before we head out here, I just want to finish off, and I want to say that I think for all of us, whether you're new, old, whatever it is, we all have to understand that there's always a kind of fear that worms its way into every single movement for justice. And I'm not just talking about a fear of repression, a fear of arrest. I don't think many of us are really afraid of being arrested anymore. I'm going to keep it real. I'm talking about the fear that what we do doesn't really matter. The fear that we're just one person in a sea of students, and without those around us willing to join us, that we will fail. And that we're skipping these classes, we're joining these rallies, and nothing's going to come of it. But I want to remind everyone that we didn't just fight for nothing last semester. We fought and we fucking won. We won divestment from 4 massive corporations that are invested into the genocide. We won disclosure of the investments that our university has when they were refusing to give it to us at the start of last semester. And we made history by making our university president come down here and talk to us on our terms. So we cannot let that fear stop us from acting, because we know that fear is bullshit. We have to go forward with the faith that every single one of us here, whether you look to your left, whether you look to your right, every single person here is willing to fight for each other, to fight for the liberation of the Palestinian people as well as our own. We have to build that faith among our classmates. We have to look to the students that aren't with us yet, because there are a lot of them, that are scared of being a part of anything like this, and show them what is happening here today. We have to show them that there is a moment, not just here, but all across the country, to be seized for the people of Gaza and to be seized for those who are struggling right here on this very campus. We're going to have to put all of our effort into building that solidarity. Because if we go forward, as separate parts, we won't win. But if we are all binded by a faith in our own unity, in our own organization, if we all know that we're not just individual students doing our own thing, but that we're a united body, and that when one of us moves, all of us fucking move. Only when we share that faith and that unity will we be able to light the spark that will be seen by college campuses all across this country. Because when students from those campuses look at their phones, when they talk to their friends, they will hear one thing, and that it is that Bay Area students are shutting down their campuses for Gaza. And they will think to themselves, just as we thought for Colombia, how can we join them? So let's fucking make that happen this year. Talk to your classmates, talk to your friends, talk to your professors. Let them know that this year is the time. That if we want to make the difference in the movement for Palestinian liberation, we have to strike when the iron is hot. So tell me, are you guys ready to fight this semester?